Hey folks, I know it's been a while. I'm trying to wrap things up here for this CD collection series I've been doing, or I'm pretty sure it was called the favorite CD series that I did way back in January. So I'm trying to finish this up here. I know that it's been, extensive time that I, haven't been doing any videos. It's been about a couple months, in fact. I think June was the last time I did as part of the series I'm doing here. But yeah, I know. But I'm trying to finish this thing up. Try to do at least 3 of these, and end it, so that way I can maybe move on to do other videos and stuff. Other maybe reviews. So I want to talk about, of course, one of the greatest, if not, that could be debatable, the greatest rock band of all time, the Rolling Stones. Now, they recently came out with a new album called Foreign Tongues, and a few years back they had Hackney Diamonds. I don't think I'm ever going to listen to those. I don't think I would ever. It doesn't really make me want to go and listen to those albums. I know the Stones, they're like one of those bands that just keep going until they can't go any further. And maybe someday, maybe I'll do one of those. Maybe I'll do one of my Is This Album Worth It, where I talk about either Hackney Diamonds or Foreign Tongues. But man, the Rolling Stones had pretty much a streak of just really, really solid albums, I would say. But I am going to cover, now you remember my reviews, think about it, 5 years ago, I covered pretty much every single one of those Stones albums. I covered the very first one all the way up to really the Blue and Lonesome. And this was before Hackney Diamonds and all that. So that's really crazy to think. But the ones that really have a place in my heart is definitely the ones from the 60s, and then a couple from the Jimmy Miller albums everybody absolutely loves, which I don't have on CD. I got the book here, and it's got the black and white pictures that are about this size. So, enough of me talking here. Let's go ahead and get rolling here. And by the way, I love every single, even their early albums. I know there are certain Stones fans that just love certain periods that are really enthused on certain eras, like the early period and the psychedelic era of theirs and the Baroque and stuff, and then Jimmy Miller stuff and the post Jimmy Miller and the Ron Wood era and the Some Girls and the whole new wave stuff that they were doing. But man, nothing comes close than to their 60s period, man, from 64 right up to Ghost Head Soup. Just great freaking albums. And I love their first one. Now, this was the front cover of the UK album, which was, I think, just called the Rolling Stones. But over here in America, we had England's Newest Hitmakers. And it's got some great stuff. Now, of course, this is the UK version, so it's got a couple songs that we did not have down here in the States, which the Rolling Stones now had maybe 1 or 2 songs from their first one over in England. And I love every single one of these, like Honest I Do. Who doesn't freaking love that song? Oh, the Jerry Reed song. Love that. And of course, Carol, Tell Me You're Coming Back to Me, which was one of their earliest compositions to be featured on an album. And I think that song's pretty okay. Again, it's not one of my favorites. And then you got the Rolling Stones 12 by 5, a really great sophomore album, which came out the same year in '64. And it's got stuff, they covered Chuck Berry. Everybody covered Chuck Berry back then. Like Around and Around, Confessin' the Blues. I love that song. absolutely great. And Time Is on My Side, which is a cover, obviously, but it's a great song. It's All Over Now. What a another great song. The Bobby Womack song. And Under the Boy. That's the thing, man. The Stones, when they did that cover of Under the Boardwalk, the Arthur Rensick song, that was, I think that was okay. It's not really a great cover. But yeah, again, still definitely in the vein of the first album. But they end up really adapting themselves, proving themselves that they can be really good songwriters. And here in the States, we had Rolling Stones Now, which features, I believe, features Mona, which was from the first album like I said, overseas. Yeah, good old Chuck, or what's his name? I was about to say Chuck Berry, but the hell is that guy's name? Bo Diddley. Of course, the Bo Diddley cover. And Down the Road a Piece. What a song. This here is my favorite North American Stones album by a long shot. And Down Home Girl. Oh. Yeah. Something about the pork and beans, stuff like that. And eating collard greens. It's such a silly freaking song, but I love it. Yeah, there we go again. Chuck Berry, Can't Catch Me, Heart of Stone. And I like Pain in My Heart too. Really, God, every single song back to back is really great. Then after that, they have their big whatchamacallit, their big success, Out of Our Heads. Did pretty well here in the States, but it has their first ever big #1, and that was Can't Get No Satisfaction with the amazing Keith Richards riff. I mean, what can be said about that riff? Yeah, and it starts off with Have mercy on me. I love that. Good song by the Don Covey. And I love The Last Time. It's a great, definitely one of those great early Stone songs. Yeah, Come On Baby, Let the Good Times Roll, the Sam Cooke cover, and Play with Fire. That was the Nanker Felge, basically the Rolling Stones. It was a synonym. Yeah, it's one of my favorite Stones albums, but it's definitely a great Out of Our Heads. And then once again, in the States we had, which the UK didn't have, but it's December's Children and Everybody's, which was Lou Adler's idea of that album title. And it starts off with She Said Yeah, yep, and Talking About You. Oh, I love the Arthur Alexander song that they cover, You Better Move On, just beautiful song. And you got a couple of the live stuff. I think it was from the Got Live EP, Route 66 and Moving On. Oh yeah, as tears go by and I'm free to do what I want. I remember hearing that on what was that restaurant, Applebee's? I think it was like an Applebee's commercial. I remember first hearing that song. And Get Off My Cloud, there we go, their second #1 song. All overseas. Well, not just here in North America, but everywhere else. And I absolutely love this one, and which I absolutely love the front cover more than the UK cover, and that is Aftermath, which of course features all compositions by Jagger Richards, which I think ranks to good, really good, and then kind of dismal. Well, that's being a little harsh for me saying dismal. Maybe mediocre. Like I would say maybe like Don't You Bother Me is not really. It's kind of okay. And Paint It Black, there we go, their third #1. And Under My Thumb, it's a great, absolutely A fantastic early Stones song. I'd even like the song. What's that one? Think Back, Baby, or something. As stupid as it is, but I love it. And High and Dry, which really kind of looks forward to maybe some of the late '60s albums. Along the way. Yeah, I'm Waiting. That kind of foreshadows their sound, especially on the next album. Yeah, like Going Home. I mean, that's just a long freaking song that just bores the freaking hell out of me. Yeah, early 1967, I believe, or February was this album here. Now, of course, you see the two Rolling Stones circular logos were on the North American album. See, this is the UK album cover, and it's got the goofy what's his name? He passed away about 5 years ago. I think. Yeah, Charlie Watts, the drummer, did this silly comical comic thing back there. And yeah, it's a little bit different. Obviously it doesn't feature, which is crazy to think, that does not feature Ruby Tuesday or Let's Spend the Night Together. Two great 60 Stones songs, which of course Ruby Tuesday became their fourth number one here. And I think I prefer that. I really prefer the North American album. Because it starts off here with Yesterday's Paper. See here in the States it starts with Let's Spend the Night Together, and of course Ruby Tuesday. I mean, I do like the other ones that were to be featured on the compilation, Flowers. Cool, calm, collected, she's well respected. This great song. It's stupid as all get out, but it's still fun to me. And I even like the one song that's really Dylan-esque, which is Who's Been Sleeping Here? Oh yeah, Miss Amanda Jones. I love that one too. It's a little bit like a rocking. See, and there was still a little bit of the early Stones, but looking forward to the previous album, or the excuse me, the preceding album, and even yeah, well, it kind of looks forward, but it's definitely got the Baroque and the vaudeville stuff on here. And what was another one on here? Complicated. I know Complicated was a good song. Again, Something Happened to Me Yesterday was about their drug trip. And then here we go, Flowers, the North American album that was only released here, just like Now and December's Children. A little bit kind of like Yesterday and Today. Really, this album here really reminds me of that. And it's got Ruby Tuesday, Have You Seen Your Mother, Baby? I love that song. Of course, Let's Spend the Night Together. Lady Jane, which was, I feel like that was always a song they always had on their albums. And I even like Please Go Home, which has a little bit of that echoey kind of really weird song. And Mother's Little Helper, which was a previous Stones song from '66. I even like the folky Sitting on a Fence, which I like. It's a really good song. And I'm pretty sure most people they're very, again, debatable if some Stones fans clutch to the psychedelic period. Most people would say this is definitely one of their garbaged albums, but it's really great. I don't really care. I don't really get why most Stones fans, if they're elitists, say this is like one of their really bad album, but it's really great. It's fun. I mean, again, not all the songs I think on this album is. Well, I think most of these songs are really, really freaking fantastic. Like Citadel, I love that song. 2000 Man, which has a little bit of a folky vibe. And She's a Rainbow, I love that. Oh my goodness, She's a Rainbow is a great song. And The Lantern, which is completely just freaky. And 2000 Light Years, Away from Home with that Mellotron really creepy vibe, really creepy, setting. And I love them on the Top of the Pops where they do that song live. It's really great. And that's really the thing which kind of really makes me feel mixed on their Satanic, if I haven't said it, their Satanic Majesty's Request. Is probably the maybe sing this all together and on with the show. It's a little silly. I know they got a little bit of like spurts of like talking, like gibberish or whatever. And that kind of reminds me a lot of the Rascals' Once Upon a Dream. It has a little bit of that, which is, I would say maybe distracting, but it is a little bit unnecessary maybe to have it on here. But it really is a concept album. It's about the future and people fearing of, what do you call that? Chromium? What's that thing? Like people, the fear of like the future. Is it like chromium or I can't think of it at this. I can't really think of it now. But anyways, their Satanic Majesties is really good. And of course, here we go. Jimmy Miller. 2 great Jimmy Miller albums. Beggar's Banquet. Now, of course, in early '68, Jumpin' Jack Flash was kind of the sign of their back to roots, rock and roll, bluesy, kind of like their early albums a little bit. They're kind of getting rough in a way, just like from '64 to '65. And who doesn't love that gatefold, right? I think this was shot in Paris or something like that, in some mansion they saw or something. Now, this was the vulgar album cover, because the clean version has the invitation, which has Beggar's Banquet in cursive. But you see how it has all the silliness on the wall and the toilet seat, which I know the mamas and papas did before them. And it's got great stuff. I mean, again, I'm not really going to really say the song, but it's got Sympathy for the Devil and stuff like that, and Parachute Woman. And then, of course, in the 60s, for their 5 years, can you believe that? 64 to 69, they were, at this point when they released this album, they were really 5 years together as even earlier than that, but still, just within '64 with England's newest hitmakers, to Let It Bleed. There you go. And again, it's got some amazing stuff like Let It Bleed, Love in Vain, Midnight Rambler, which I love the Get Your Ya-Ya's live version of that, and Gimme Shelter, which I think is a little bit overplayed, but I still like that. And of course, You Can't Always Get What You Want. And then, of course, the country version of Honky Tonk Woman, which became a #1. Yeah, and it comes with this bonus disc, which actually kind of replicates the Beggar's Banquet, the clean version, however, of that. Now, these 3 albums I don't have on CD. That's the thing, folks, because I know these albums, I've heard these albums so many times, that I just don't really need to own these on CD, which I was going to originally, but again. So 1971, Sticky Fingers. Oh man, I absolutely love. These Jimmy Miller, up to the very end of Ghosthead Soup. These are just classic albums. Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street. Really their first double album. And of course, probably one of the worst albums. Well, I don't know if I feel like some of their Stones album covers rank from like pretty okay to like really bad. And I think this one's definitely one of their really just stupid album covers. Ghosthead Soup, which has Angie, the #1. But anyways, folks, this video was just all about the Rolling Stones. So hopefully I'll come back and do another part where I have a string of other various of artists. And then my last part will be only 2 artists. So I know, folks, I'm definitely trying to conclude this and end this CD series here. So until then, folks, take care. Bye-bye.